happiness is your birthright. See, if you really believe that, if you take it into your heart, then every time you are not happy, you're going to say, what is it that's taking my happiness away? And you will remove it and get back to being happy. The whole world, they want to be happy. Everybody wants to be happy. But they just don't know how. See, that is the problem. That's what the Dalai Lama wrote on when he recommended my book. He says, everybody wants to be happy, but they don't know how. The problem arises because you don't know what you're trying to make happy. So it comes down to that basic question of who am I and what is this I that wants to be happy? You see, most of us, our identity is stuck at a different level. Right? And 99% of people, their identity is stuck somewhere in the mind. And the mind has got so many different things. It's got thoughts, it's got the ego, it's got memory, it's got intelligence, it's got perceptions, it's got imagination. So there are so many different aspects to the mind. And we're all stuck at one of those levels, which we define as being happy. And when that doesn't happen, okay, then you're suffering and you're miserable and you're sad. You can't think of a time in the past when things were perfect and try to bring it into this moment. I'm sure if you look back, there is a memory. Like for me, it was living in Mexico. If I had to bring back a moment in my life, I would say definitely the time that I lived in Mexico. Rich in experience. But I also had a host of other problems. See, we bring in that memory, but we have forgotten how unhappy we were then. Because we constantly complained that we didn't have, access, couldn't go to India, couldn't talk on the phone, couldn't breathe, the air was so polluted. And if you went back to Mexico today, your experience of it would not be the same as that experience that you think made you happy. So memories cannot make you happy. Because memories are thought of in the context of the present. But they took place at a moment in time, and that time has gone. It cannot be brought back. The same incident you can bring back, but your experience of it is going to be completely different. Because if you're stuck, say, at the level of just thoughts, okay, you follow your thoughts, right? So, most often thoughts are fueled by emotions. So, people that follow thoughts are actually following their emotions. So I'm unhappy because I'm feeling depressed, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling fearful, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling elated, you have a bunch of emotions that come and go during the day. But the important thing to realize is that not one emotion stays forever. It rises and falls. So you might have been irritated in the morning, but you're quite peaceful now. You're quite receptive. You might not have wanted to talk on the phone in the morning, but you don't mind having a conversation now because your feelings cannot be relied on. They don't remain the same. So if you want your feeling to make you happy, it's like holding on to a flowing river, like I always say. It is, 1 minute you're sad, 1 minute you're disturbed, 1 minute you're worried about your health, 1 minute you're worried about the neighbor, 1 minute you're worried about somebody who died, you're worried about your dog, you're worried about the person in the office who sees that you logged off, you're worried about so many different things, right? So you can't hold on to that and say, okay, I'm going to get my happiness from that. What about those that are stuck at the level of the ego? I think that's the worst. That's the worst because it's not even real. You made it up. You created that within your mind. An idea that I am Kanchana, I am beautiful, I am a writer, I am a meditation teacher, I am all these things, right? Great cook. And you're a writer and only 5 people are buying your book. What happens to your ego? And you're a meditation teacher and only 1 person comes to listen to you. What happens to all your teachings? And you're a great cook, but you leave it on the stove and it burns. How can you make your ego the decider for your happiness? Who are you trying to make happy? Because these things change. Even if my ego was feeling great, today I won a literary award. Great. Everybody will call, Facebook, messages, texting, this thing. Wow, great, so proud of you. But tomorrow they'll forget me. Their memory won't last. My glory is gone. It's over. I remember the day I looked forward to my wedding. Oh my God, I was like so excited buying the saris. I'm married, I've been married 35 years. Who remembers that day?
I do.
Oh. That I, coming from a place of I, cuts you off completely from people. Because it is I before everyone else. It is my needs that are more important. My taxes need to be high, low, whatever. I need to make more money. Let poor people be poor. Coming from a place of ego can never make you happy. It can never, because you can never live up to your own expectations of yourself. The ones that you put in there. I must be respected. People must sit up when I come into the room. My comments must be commented on. My posts must be the most important. My clothes must set the trend. You are living in a permanent state of expectation and disappointment and expectation and disappointment. And it's not even real. So if you're coming from a place of ego, you cannot be happy. What about those that are stuck at the level of intelligence? The worst kind of ego comes from thinking you know too much. Right? I know everything. My dad used to call such people the eye specialists. I know everything. Yeah, the eye specialists. They know it all. The sad thing is that nothing that I am saying, you are saying, or that you have thought or learnt or done has not been done before. There is not an original thought in the world. We all think the same thing. We all learn the same thing. It all is revealed to you. And no matter how much you know, there is so much more to know. There's so much you don't know. So you might have a doctorate degree. So I was trying to see whether I should, do a TED talk. I was looking at the list, doctor this, doctor that, doctor this. So I said, okay, the world only respects you if you spend 20 years doing nothing or doing whatever you're doing, right? But some of the greatest knowledge has come from rishis and sages and seers who never went to school. I doubt Sai Baba, Shirdi Sai Baba ever entered a school or a college. You don't need any of that. A grandmother in a village probably has got much more real sense and real knowledge and is living a much better life in touch with herself and themselves and being happy all the time and spreading happiness, which, the master of philosophy is not doing. I enjoy watching the arguments between theists and atheists. And I keep shaking my head because they're all talking about the same thing. The ultimate question is, am I happy? And for that you have to know who I am. So intelligence can only take you that far. Intelligence shines light on all of your perceptions. So we come down to our senses. Right? A lot of us are stuck in our senses. We believe that if our senses are pleased, then we will be happy. So very clearly, you are mixing, you haven't understood what I mean by happiness. Happiness is not pleasure. We are sentient beings. We are beings that interact with our world through our senses. But our senses are not real and may not even be current. Their adapted senses are always adapted to humans and animals to allow them to adjust to their environment. And I was watching a video by Sarvapriyananda some time back, and he was talking about not trusting your senses, because we love the taste of sugar, right? We love it so much. But that is based on a fact that in the olden days, when we were hunters and gatherers 10 million years ago, it was not easy to find something sweet. You could find meat, you could find mushrooms, you could find fish, but you could not find fruit. So when you searched for that fruit and you ate that fruit, you got that feeling. Because your body needs a little sugar. Right? But we are not doing the same. Our senses are telling us sugar is good. And if we follow our senses, it is not going to lead to happiness, because it is not giving you the true picture of what you require. What you like may not be exactly what you need. And that may be the most important thing that I have ever said. Because we so easily follow what we like and we avoid what we don't like. The whole pleasure, pain principle. We run towards pleasure. We run away from pain. But who is it that is being pleased when you satisfy your senses, when you eat, when you smell, when you listen to music, when you taste good food, when you touch soft silk? It is just your body. So you're stuck at the level of your body. And if you're stuck at the level of the body, I have talked about this before, you are just, setting yourself up for disaster, because the body is a continuous process. It is changing and building and rebuilding, and you're becoming fatter and thinner and older and more wrinkled, and things are not working as well as they did, and organs are failing. And at one point of time, there is that witness in that body that is always happy, that is always at peace, that's laughing at you, thinking, you really think this is going to make you happy? No, come back to me. Come inward. I am always at peace. I'm always still. I'm always happy.